Hey. I'd like to take the time and welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I am your host, Dietrich Hubbard, and today we're going to talk about shall I pursue? Shall I pursue? And what we're dealing with a time where many believers are at a breaking point. And not only are they at a breaking point, it's many believers that are at a point of their life that they have made decisions and they expect these decisions to be godly decision or decision based on God. But we fail to understand that God does everything for a reason. And even when we can't understand the reason why God does certain things, we got to be mindful of timing. We got to be mindful of actions. And we got to be mindful of the way we treat people. Because, see, a lot of us have gotten a big head, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in jobs, whether it's friendships. When we think we no longer need those people, when we think that we have used them all we can use them, when we think that they are no longer of value of us, we treat them like trash. Yeah. And if it hit home for you, let it hit home for you. Because see, one thing God wants us to understand in this season is that He don't want you around nobody whose actions are not pointing toward God. See, when you got people who could who concern more about whether you going to the club or you can make it to a party, then they ask you, have you prayed today? Have God spoken to you today? Have God answered your prayers today? Those are people that you don't want to be around. So we're going to be in First Samuel chapter 30 today and understand, you know, Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So we here in First Samuel chapter 30, we're going to see how many of us betray God. And we betray God because we don't understand the totality of who God is. See, we are so used to going to church and we get the blessing message. We get the prophetic message. But what the message just tell us to live right? What the message to tell us we got to go closer to God? What the message to tell us are we in right standing with God? And a lot of us are not a right standing with God because we following people who have no standing in God. First Samuel chapter 30, verse 1 said, and it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag and smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire and had taken the women captives that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captive. Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. So here we got to understand that David was off in war. David was off in war David was off trying to partner up with the Philistines. But while David was away, nobody was guarding his home over in Ziklag. And the result of nobody being at home in Ziklag, guess what happened? The Amalekites came. The Amalekites came and they smite Ziklag and burned it with fire. What you got to understand in this season, a lot of us in a Ziklag season. when you understand the meaning of Ziklag, you understand it means to press someone into giving up something. See, a lot of y'all is in a point where you got to give up something. But what you're giving up, is it worthy for you to build a right relationship with God? Or is you giving it up because you ain't feeling it no more? Because you don't love it no more? So here, it also means distress or oppression. Huh? Means a place or angel of pressure or distress. See, a lot of y'all been having these migraines, headaches past couple of weeks. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you get discouraged quickly, you mad, huh? It's because God trying to get you to give up something. And see, for many of you, because you don't have a relationship with God, you give up what God has given you for your protection, but now you go reach for something for security. See, protection and security is different. Protection is gonna watch you all around. Security is only gonna focus on one area. See, that's like some of y'all that done broke up with your women or your men. Oh, they don't give me enough sex. So you went and found the man to give you the security of sex. Oh, they don't hug me enough. They don't pay attention. So you went and found a man that gave you attention. See, you left your protection for security. And when you leave protection for security, guess what? You leave a space for the sniper. Yeah, the sniper. You know, y'all watch them TV shows. Security be all the way around. They be watching. But that sniper, he's sitting up in there. He waiting on the right time to hit you. And then he take that deep breath and he hold it. Watch this. He don't pull the trigger. He squeeze the trigger. Dead center. And that's how a lot of you are right now. You in a dead center situation that you know you wrong. You done burnt up your homes. You done burnt up your relationships. You done burnt up your character. You done burnt up somebody else's character because the decision you made was all to make you look good. And when the decision is to make you look good, somebody got to look bad. So here we see in verse 2 that the women were taken captives. But watch this. They didn't kill any women. They didn't kill the children. Watch what David, if you go over to 1 Samuel 28, David lived his life as a bandit. Every city David went in, he killed everybody, including the women, including the children, and they took everything he had. But watch here. Isn't it something when the enemy that come against you have more compassion than you? Oh, that's a good one, wasn't it? The enemy that God had sent against you is showing more compassion than you showed somebody else. So see, when y'all get mad at Brother Hubbard and y'all cuss Brother Hubbard out and you done did this and you did that, Brother Hubbard gonna send somebody, not Brother Hubbard, excuse me, y'all. God gonna send an enemy around. And that enemy is going to have more compassion on you than you had on me. See, what David failed to understand in this situation, David was reaping what he sowed. See, David went around stealing and killing. But when God wanted to get him to a point in his life that I need you to see what you're doing, he put Ziklag on him. He put pressure on him. See, a lot of you you done left friends, situations, in marriages, and in relationships, and you looking at them as the problem because you don't see that you the problem. See, you may just be getting what you got somebody else. Huh? See, your marriage probably tore up because you was all in somebody else's marriage. You done lost your money because you talking about how somebody else spent their money. See, if you're a believer, ain't no such thing as what y'all call that thing? Ain't no such thing as karma. The Bible say you reap what you sow. See, you got to watch how you treat people who you think you don't need no more. But that's for y'all who don't have a relationship with Christ. A person like me, you know what? I burn the bridge down. I scrape up the ashes and I put them at the bottom of my barbecue grill so I can burn them again. But this time, guess what I'm doing? I'm slow smoking me some ribs under the bridge that I done burned. That's how I deal with them. But everybody ain't like me. So here, instead of killing what David loved, God allowed the enemy to take it away. See, a lot of you going through situations not because it's the person's fault, it's because God trying to show you what you love more than him. So here, David came to the city and everything was burned. See, for many of us, our life tore up in this season. Ain't it something that your life can change overnight? Watch this. Overnight, Brother Hubbard was homeless, didn't have no family, didn't have his mind, didn't have no money, didn't he was so unstable he didn't know what to do. Then he have to second guess himself in his decision because he know he hear the voice of God, but that don't make sense, God. But see, that's when you got a relationship with God. It's the thing that don't make sense. Oftentimes, is what God wants you to do. See, it wouldn't make sense for a man to all of a sudden call his woman and say, "You better come home. I got to take care of you." It ain't make no sense for a woman to call her man and say, "Hey, can I come home? I miss you." See, the problem is pride got so many of us locked down that we don't hear the voice of God. We hear the voice of our situation. We hear the voice of what we want. And we listen. You know what? God has to put some of us in a position to let us know we ain't all what we think. We ain't all that in a bag of chips. Some of you just a rapper. Some of you just an empty bag. And some of you are just an illusion because you want to be something that you ain't. I laugh when I go to social media and I see all these people talking about I'm a CEO of this, I'm the president of this, and then what CEO of a company got to GoFundMe to support them? What CEO on a website trying to tell people, can you help me sell my book? I mean, how can you be a president of something and you don't know how business works? But pride won't let you see that you're wrong. Cause see, some of y'all like being out there struggling. Some of y'all like being living from hand to mouth. See, one thing about people, when you used to living in poverty, struggling don't mean anything to you. Because you ain't used to having that anyway. So when you go from bad to worse, you think you good. Me, if I go from bad to worse, I ain't good. I ain't good now. But I'm better than what I was. So here in verse 4, they said David and the people that were with him, they wept until they had the power to weep no more. Huh. See, some of you trying to leave situation that you cry for God to give you the answer to. The reason that God never gave you the answer, and hear me good, when you praying to God and God don't give you the answer, It because the answer in you. See, we can't see the answer in us because we blaming everybody else for the fault that we feel. We blaming everybody else for the lack that we don't have. So you can't see the answer in you because your answer is dependent on how a man or a woman treats you. That shows, watch this, you lack a relationship with God. I was talking to a friend today. I said, I don't want to get to the point where I'm like the other folks. You know, they be together so long that when one of them transition and gone away, 2 or 3 days later, they gone. See, the Bible say you complete in him. And when you complete in him, when you complete in God, you ain't got to tell nobody what you bring to the table. When you complete in God, you ain't got to worry about no 50-50. Because when you complete in God, the person that you with, they just as much as whole as you are whole. See, it doesn't matter if you work at Burger King and they're an engineer. It don't matter in the sight of God. Because when that Burger King man, watch this now, if he complete in God and hear the voice of God, you're an engineer and you got a little understanding of who God is. When y'all put that two gods together, y'all can do anything. But see, y'all don't want that. You want a six pack, you want six figures, and you want some hung mandingo. That's all you want. Do you notice God is not even the center of marriages anymore? They ain't saying God brought me to you. What you bring to the table, where you work, what you do. This what I like. This my love language. Okay, let's get married. Ain't no God in it no more. And David's two wives were taken captive. Ahinoam, the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved. Every man for his sons and for his daughters, but David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. See, let's break these names down. Because see, everybody crying, but the author made mention of two of David's wives. The first one was Ailme. What that means when you translate it in Hebrew, it means brother of pleasantness. So a lot of y'all in a valley that you think the decision that you make, you pleasant with the city, with the decision you made. You pleasant the way you live in your life. You happy that you think that you ain't in bondage. You happy that you think that you getting what you want. See, you made a healed decision in an unhealed place. In an unhealed place. And for many of you, you cutting off people. You treat people bad because you made a healed decision in an unhealed place, and now you think you right. See, the next wife they took, watch this, Abigail. See, for a lot of you, because you made your healed decision in an unhealed place, watch this, Abigail means my father's joy. You saying God told me to do this. God allowed me to do this. See, how can God allow you to do something that's in his will and you had to go outside his will to do what you're doing? See, your sneaky link may be sneaky to the world, but it ain't sneaky to God. Y'all running around with these men and women, and now y'all done got your divorces or trying to get your divorces or breaking up. Now you going on to the next woman. You going on to the next man. And you saying God done gave me peace about this situation. How God gonna give you peace about how God gonna give you peace in a deceptive situation? That ain't God, that's you. Oh, I'm talking to somebody. I'm talking to somebody. Because see, I'm here to tell you today through this word. Watch this. Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. Y'all know who Nabal who is? Nabal in Hebrew means fool. You people that done made healed decision in an unhealed place, you a fool for thinking God accepting what you're doing. You a fool for think you made the right choice. You a fool for leaving your marriage. You a fool for leaving your job. Why is you a fool for doing it? Because you did it deceptively. Because see, a lot of us, God allowed, Brother Hubbard was making hand over fist when it came to money. God said, he said, I don't want you to cut grass anymore. I'm talking about in less than an hour, half, 2 hours, I'm making 8 and 9 grand in 2 hours. And all I got to do is say, what's your credit card number? Boo boo. See, y'all in a position that you looking at everybody else but you. You looking at they faults. You looking at they words. You looking at how they move. But you ain't looking at you. You ain't looking at you. You don't want to look at you because if you look at you like some of us do, you'll see how filthy you really are. See, that's why I get at people who try to call me prideful and he this and that. You don't know. I don't want to do this. But woe to me if I don't do this. Watch this. It's something to not want to preach the gospel of God, but you enjoy doing it. You know why I want to do this? Because God knows when I'm going to tell the truth, despite how I feel, despite how people feel about me, because that's why a lot of times he allows me to say things that a normal leader wouldn't say. We need to get in a place that watch this, if your circle don't hear the voice of God, that ain't your circle no more. See, watch this. If your circle, watch this. Y'all go on trips together, don't you? Y'all go down to the script club, don't you? Y'all go to happy hour, don't you? Y'all go to parties, don't you? Why y'all don't get together and pray and say, are we in right standing with you, God? See, the best kind of relationship you can build with God is to ask God, is you doing right in the middle when you know you're doing wrong. But y'all won't do that. See, when you put on them eyelashes, God, do I really need these eyelashes? When you got them bundles, God, do I need these bundles? When you got to go sleep with that man for that rent money, God, do I really need this rent money? See, the problem is y'all listen to leaders who won't send you to God to ask you is what you doing right because they want to approve of what you doing because they just as carnal as you. That's what they is. So here, they were finna stone David as a leader. And this is what I tell my people. As a leader, I'm going to tell you what God tells me to do, but you better follow God for yourself because I will not be your idol. Because here we see They believed so much in David that when something happened and it affected them, they was finna get David. They were finna get David a blanket party. See, some of y'all, you got to watch following people that you believe so much in that when something happened to you or happened to them, it affects you. See, nothing I do should affect the people that I mentor, the churches I oversee, the leaders I got in fellow. Should nothing I do affect them? Because I teach them, have your own relationship with God. See, what's wrong with a lot of you, you done built your relationship with God according to the person that you connected to. And thereby, you think because they got the same power, you got it. But it said David encouraged himself in the Lord. See, how can you walk around here depressed, upset, confused, but you're a believer? You got to encourage yourself in God. What you mean? What you mean? Your love language is words of affirmation. And that's what your partner got to do in order for you to see that he love you. Encourage yourself in the Lord. What you mean your partner got to show you acts of kindness because that's your love language? And if he don't show you no acts of kindness, he don't know your language. Encourage yourself in the Lord. See, y'all done built up a whole dating pedigree out of a book of bull because you don't have no relationship with God. The Bible tells us God don't look at the outer things of man. He look at the inside. So they got to show you acts of kindness. They got to give you a gift. They got to give you words of affirmation. It's because you ain't got no relationship with God. You're not complete in him. So now you got to rely on a book to know if a man love you because you ain't got the spirit of God to know what love is. And David said to Abiathar the priest, Amalekite's son, we at verse 7, I pray thee, bring me hither the ephod. And Abiathar brought thither the ephod to David. And David inquired at the Lord, saying, shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. See, a lot of y'all done gave up. You done gave up because you done went to the wrong prayer partner. You didn't talk to the wrong you didn't talk to the wrong mama. You didn't talk to the wrong you didn't talk to the wrong pastor. You didn't talk to the wrong prophet. You didn't talk to the wrong day one. So now you losing what God gave you because you didn't understand the gift that God had to give. Huh? Because see, David said, after I encourage myself in the Lord, which means after I get myself in a position that I understand who I am in God, whatever they took from me, I got to go get it. But he didn't go get it under his own strength. See, that was wrong with a lot of y'all. You in a relationship under your own strength. You done left your marriage under your own strength. You done left your job under your own strength. You done moved under your own strength. See, how some of you blessed by God, you got that new car, right? You got that new house, but you got to work two jobs to keep it. See, God is not about weighing down our load. He's about lightening our load. See, working two jobs is not a flex, it's a curse. Because see, when the river burst into four heads, the river said we should have an overflow of currency coming to us, not an overflow of job to get the currency. See, your job should pay for the business that God told you to start. For God told you to start. But the problem is you spend too much time trying to look like you out at these car lots, taking pictures in front of these Mercedes and Range Rovers and G Wagons, knowing good and well you can't afford it. Ooh, God done bless me. Oh, I see y'all. But it ain't my business. Watch this. Why do you think the Bible tells us don't despise small beginnings? See, you can't lie your way into position and then expect God to bless you to that position. See, this we ain't in the world when it comes to God. You can't fake it till you make it in God. You got to show people where you started. See, some of y'all want to be a CEO and you can't even manage the $2,000 a month that you get. See, if the only time you can catch up on your bills when income tax check come, God ain't fit to bless you with no money. Shall I pursue? See, some of y'all pursuing the enemy thinking it's God. And when the enemy overtake you, then you want to come running back to the men and women of God that y'all left. See, a lot of y'all base your decision off of emotions, off of hurt, off of what your sister done told you, what your brother done told you, and you never went to God on your own. It's amazing how many of you can go to a people, especially for marriage advice. You go to the people for marriage advice who marriage messed up. How that make sense? They couldn't keep their own husband. How they gonna tell you how to keep yours? All they gonna do is encourage you to leave. So what we got to understand, we got to look at the decisions we made because some of us have made life-altering decisions based off our emotions. And now you at a point of questioning whether you right or wrong. See, y'all know to get that ephod, which means you got to go to God in prayer. You got to go to God in fasting, and you got to ask God, God, is it worth it? See, understand something. David had plenty of wives, but it wasn't just his wife. It was his men's wives too. See, a lot of y'all making decisions, you think it's just affecting you, but it's affecting the people that you connected to too. So what you got to understand in this season, before you pursue anything, if it ain't leading you to God, it leading you to hell. Now, y'all be blessed and have a good day. Boom, 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 boom.